right, welcome to Tuesday, and we have another fun story from Pete the Cat that we're going to read today. But first, we're going to go over the vocabulary that we're going to meet in the story. Okay, so the first word we have is blowfish. So let's clap it out and see how many syllables we have. Blowfish, blowfish. 2. Part of speech, it's a noun. A noun is a person, place, thing, or animal. Blowfish is an animal. It's a fish that is able to inflate its body. So inflate means to puff up or to, like, for example, when you have a balloon and you blow it up, that's called inflating the balloon, okay? When a tire is flat on a car or the air is going out of it, you have to go get your tires inflated. So, for example, a blowfish puffed up to scare away the shark. The next fish we have is angelfish. Let's clap it out. Angelfish. 3. It's also a noun. It's a freshwater fish with long fins. So freshwater means it doesn't live in the ocean because the ocean is saltwater. You can actually have one of these fish as a pet. So for example, Ada has a blue and orange angelfish in her aquarium. And what I want you to do is to go to Google. I want you to look up blowfish and angelfish. I think the blowfish looks very interesting. So I want you to look those up and talk about what you think about those, okay? So we're gonna jump into the story for today. It's called Scuba Cat. So Pete the Cat, Scuba Cat. Pete the Cat is excited. He is in a boat on a beautiful day, and he's about to go scuba diving. So if you remember from last week, Pete was in a train. Now Pete's in a boat. So Pete's doing a lot of traveling. Okay. Pete puts on a mask and fins. He has a tank full of air so he can breathe underwater. He hopes to see lots of fish. If you are lucky, you might get to see a seahorse, says Captain Joe. A seahorse, says Pete? I can't wait. I've never seen one before. Their ridges look like a horse's mane, said Captain Joe. Groovy, says Pete. So I was actually able to see a seahorse in person at an aquarium in Atlanta, I believe. Pete jumps into the water. He makes a big splash. Down, down, down he goes. Up, up, up go the bubbles. Pete looks for a seahorse. He sees a swordfish instead. Pete swims out of its way so it can pass. Now here's a swordfish. I want you to look at the picture and think about why it's called a swordfish. Look at this picture. Why do you think this fish is called a swordfish? Pete waves to a stingray. It has a long, skinny tail. That's not a seahorse, thinks Pete. Pete feels a tickle on his leg. Pete sees a school of fish. They all look alike except for a green one. Now, a school of fish just means a group of fish, okay? It puffs up. It is a blowfish. It is not a seahorse. So here is a blowfish. You see it right here? Look at it compared to the other fish. So that fish can change its shape. And I want you to Google them to see if you can see some real life pictures of them, okay? Where could Pete be? Where could one be? He's looking for a seahorse. Pete looks at the rocks. He sees something long and purple in the sand. What is that? It's an octopus. It has 8 legs. It is not a seahorse. Pete feels another tickle as he swims. What could it be? Pete turns, but he doesn't see anything near him. He sees a cave. Is there a seahorse inside? Now, I don't think I would like to go into a cave underwater. Let's see. Pete sees a crab with claws. A seahorse does not have claws. Pete thinks. The cave gets darker as Pete swims forward. He is still looking for a seahorse, and he still feels a tickle on his leg. So what's been following Pete around this entire time? Let's read the next page. Then Pete sees an eel. It has ridges, but they don't look like a horse's mane. The eel is too long to be a seahorse. Pete keeps swimming farther into the dark cave. Soon it is too dark to see. How will Pete get out? Pete sees a jellyfish. It glows in the dark. Now Pete can swim his way out of the cave. He sees a striped angelfish. It is beautiful, but it is not a seahorse. Pete swims out of the cave. I wonder why it is still so dark, Pete thinks. It's because Pete is in the shadow of a whale. Yikes! Pete wishes he could jump on a seahorse and ride away. So there's an angelfish. Remember, it has long fins, okay? I want you to look those up too, okay? Pete hops on a sea turtle. Instead, it takes him back to the boat. Sea turtles can swim fast. I did not see a seahorse, thinks Pete. Oh well, I still had a great time. But what is tickling my tail? Pete turns around and sees a seahorse. What a great surprise, he thinks. So the seahorse has been tickling Pete the entire time. I don't know about you, but if I was in the deep water, and especially in dark water, and if something kept tickling my leg, I would have turned around to see what it was. But Pete waited a long time. Pete had felt the seahorse tickling his fur when he saw the swordfish, stingray, blowfish, octopus, crab, eel, jellyfish, angelfish, whale, and sea turtle. You were with me the whole time, thinks Pete. What a cool adventure. Okay. So I want you to look at the different fish and the different creatures that Pete saw in his journey underwater, okay? I want you to look at those, and I want you to also think about different sea creatures that you have already seen or that you like very much. And we are going to take those and we're going to use those in our Writing Wednesday, okay? So I'll see you tomorrow.